So as we begin to look at the setup and what that's going to look like. So as I had mentioned, we want to make sure we're on a good surface, that we have a safe area, no distractions. So definitely we don't want your dog hooked up to a bungee and then a cat go by or something else that could distract them. Um, a lot of people ask about doing this outside, and absolutely, as long as there's not too much, setting them that they can become distracted with. Um, so just to be careful with that. But again, a good fitting harness. We always start with a generic harness to see how the dog's going to do before we move into something a little bit more serious. With setting up the distance. And if I'm using a 4-foot bungee, I like to have at least 12 feet. So just multiply it by 3 for distance. So again, getting that all set up, making sure we have a mirror in the background, and that helps me to see what the dog is doing as well. Again, some of you have nice setups in your workout areas, and that's fantastic. And as I had mentioned, we look at the direction of the pull. So we want that pull to be parallel to the dog's back. So I'm up a little bit high here, but we want it to go, again, parallel to the dog's back and to the floor. So to adjust, I can pull down a little bit here to get that movement. There's a little bit of stress here on the shoulder. But so just lowering a little bit and remembering to take a look at that. And here is just another, she's just starting, and she's pretty excited to move there. And the way I typically will start this is she's moving towards someone while I'm controlling the bungee. And so it's a 2-person act. Especially if you can't secure the bungee anywhere or do anything like that, if you don't have an area, but just sort of to adjust it and to work with that. And here, just another video of her pulling here and just moving forward, and she's going towards her mom. So, and we could see her back legs, those toe flexors are starting to work. I caught her right when the forelimbs were a little bit off the floor. But again, seeing the importance of utilizing a floor that's not going to allow any slipping, anything like that. Here's what we don't want to do, and I commonly see this with the bungee held up high. And again, the dog is pulling down. So that can create some stress onto the shoulders, the elbows, the neck, also the spine. So again, just trying to keep that level and low enough there. So important to take a look at that. And as we often suggest in many of the Fenzi Dog Sports Academy classes, to video your work. Even if you're not turning it into an instructor, it's great to look back and take a look and say, oh yeah, this, I was up a little bit high, and maybe the dog wasn't doing as well or responding as well. And you can go back and see why that was occurring. So as we'll see a little bit of movement here, and this was Gracie's first time doing this. So we can see some of the hesitations and some of the movements. So as she comes forward, she pauses for a second, and then she really wants to get to her mom. Ideally, I'll show that again, we want a smoother movement, but this is a good start. So she's, going, and, having fun there with that. So, trying to get that smooth movement out there and then return. Because we're just starting with this, we're going to take it easy. Here's, she's getting a little bit more used to this. I'm sitting, so my direction of pull, you'll see her turn around like, hey, am I supposed to be pulling? And then she goes. So, and that, again, to take a look at that, the turnaround, not a big deal. So go ahead and try again until she starts to get used to it. And at the end, you can see that spring back a little bit. So when you're starting to do this with the dogs, don't worry. So we're going to work on them slowly progressing. And while what I would do to work on that, while she's in this position, just tell her to hold and then walk towards her. So if your dog knows how to back up, we'll ask them to slowly back up here. So have them freeze, ask them to back up, and then start to move forward. And just another view here as she comes. So a little bit smoother. And you'll notice too, she went a little bit further than she did the last time. So she's moving, she's secure. The treat is held down at her level, so we don't want her looking up. We don't want her looking down. We don't want her looking side to side. We want to keep it level. We can start to fine tune it and have the dog go in different directions, but initially we're going to start slow with this. So we're not going to have, them pull all over or do anything like that. Same thing here. While she's holding it, this is an isometric contraction. So we're asking her to just hold on to that. While she's doing that, we'll just have her pause and then now ask her to step back. But holding that, the resistance, is a workout too. And you can work on the dog holding it for longer periods of time, up to 30 seconds if they have that much patience, and you could do that. Like to use high reward treats here, things like peanut butter on a stick or something that they can grab, cheese, or again, something pretty motivated. One of the Australian cattle dogs I work with will only do it for freeze-dried chicken. Otherwise, nothing. That's not going to work. Then what we can do too is start to progress it. So this is one of our state police dogs, and you can see how thick his bungee is. So we have him move forward, and now he sits onto a disc on a base while he has the pull of the bungee. So we're working on this isometric contraction, and the bungee wants to pull him back, and he's holding his sit there. So this is great to work on sit stays, to work on the strength in the hips and the lower back, the abdominals, the core. And again, you can ask the dog to hold for 10 seconds, 15 seconds, however long they're going to be able to hold. And then you can start to build that up. And that's great to do. And then we can make it a little bit more dynamic. This is another working dog that we have, and we're asking her to step up onto the area and then go over. So this is wonderful to do, just again making it a little bit more dynamic there, to get onto that. I didn't add my title into this, but we can begin with her stepping up and then going up and over. So again, notice the direction of the pull. We're keeping her even, and she's just moving forward and then stepping over. And here I'm just asking her to step over this disc. So as she steps over, we'll ask her to go, step over, and then pull. Again, adding a little bit more difficulty. The next step beyond this will be having her back up onto that disc. So our backup commands will be great to work on that, to start to build that up there. And really you can start adding any type of obstacle in here, of course, once it's safe, but also with just starting to build up the intensity. Dogs that do a lot of search and rescue that are out there, this is wonderful to do and to work with. And I'm sure many of you, this is one of my clumbers who has hip dysplasia. He also has elbow dysplasia. And this is an activity that we work on a regular basis. He's a little bit younger in this photo, but he's now 10. But it's something that we work on to really get that isometric contraction of his lower legs. So working on pulling and just coming forward. As I mentioned, this is a pretty strenuous activity. So it takes about 3 or 4 times before he's had enough. So I always know I don't want him to be too tired. Um, the same thing with dogs that have cruciate injuries, where we don't want to stress that knee. We want to be careful. So we'll go use a lighter bungee and then move forward with it. With our guidelines, and I thought throwing this T-Rex in was kind of funny in my little PowerPoint thing. A little is a lot. So always keep that in mind, that when we start this, we only want to do a few of them. So depending upon the dog, if it's a senior dog, start with 3 times. If it's a dog that is more fit, you may want to do it 10 times, but you're always going to go quality over quantity. So pay attention to what you can do with the dog. If your dog is really getting excited and starting to kind of lose it, just take a break. And this is something that we'll add into a dog's program 2 to 3 times a week. So really, again, with to add to your program, once we again want to make sure that they have enough core strength, they have the endurance, they have everything there. So to make sure that this is complementing them and not making life more difficult for them or causing any problems. As I had mentioned, no pain at all. This is one of the field trial dogs I work with, and he recovered from an iliopsoas injury. We used a lot of bungee activities towards the end of his rehab and we mimicked his start line and his explosion to get out there. And he's back and continues to do great. So again, just with doing this, we don't want any pain or discomfort. Be cautious if the dog is coughing. Their harness may not be fitting properly, so they may be leaning into it and getting a lot of pressure. If there's lameness, certainly take a look at, are they favoring one side? Are they pulling to one side more than the other? So like us, dogs tend to be stronger on one side compared to the other. But if they're really veering towards one side more than the other, there's something going on. So are they not putting the weight onto one limb, or are they not pushing as much because one limb is sore? So important to take a look at that. And really again look at what your goals are. As I mentioned with this dog, we needed to get him strong off once he was told to go. So we would hook the bungee up to him. He would sit, and his owner gave him the command to go fetch it up, and we used the bungee there to work on that explosive activity. At first, he's like, "Hey, what's pulling me back here?" But then he knew what the activity was, and then moved on from there. And we look, certainly at the end results. This is one of the show dogs I work with, and we use a lot of the bungee activities with the conformation dogs, and looking at that nice movement and getting their just their reach and their drive there out there. So important to look at that. And then so thank you. This is one of our shepherds that got our elf on the shelf. If anyone has any comments or questions after this, you are free to email me, deb@wizardofpaws.net. I'd be glad to answer any of the questions you have. So thank you so much for joining me, and have a great day.